Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I'm the Chief Historical Officer of Generation Connection, and today we're going to be talking about the Olympics and the history of the Olympics, how we got the huge worldwide celebration of athleticism and just country pride each 4 years, and then, every 2 years, but today we're talking about mostly the summer, because it is the original one. And so the Olympic Games, they started in ancient Greece, and that is why Greece goes first at the beginning of all of the big opening ceremonies, because they're the ones who started it around 3,000 years ago. Historians are unsure. And from the 8th century BC to the 4th century AD, the games were held every 4 years in Olympia. So the first modern Olympics, though, was held in 1896 in Athens. So they started it once again and featured 280 participants from 12 nations competing in 43 events. And ever since 1994, the summer and winter games been held every 2 years, like consecutively, each 4 years apart, but they've been separate in separate areas. The Summer Olympics this year was delayed for the first time ever instead of just canceled. So we're holding it in 2021 instead of 2020. The first written records that we have about the first Olympics way back in Greece are from 776 BC when a cook named Corobius won the only event. So they had the big spectators and everything for only one event, and it was a 192-meter foot race called the stade, and that word is part of the origin of stadium. So there's a lot of history and everything that started this, and he was the first Olympic champion. But it's kind of believed that the Olympics had been going on for many years at that time, but that is our first written record of it. After 13 Olympiads, so 13 of these religious Olympics celebrating Zeus, 2 more races joined that original race that Corobius won, and the Dialos, which is about a 400-meter race, and the Dolichos, a longer distance race, so like a 1,500 or 5,000-meter event. And then the pentathlon was introduced about 8 years later. However, once the Roman Empire conquered Greece in like the 2nd century, the games continued, but their standards and quality declined. Like the Emperor Nero of the Roman Empire, he entered an Olympic chariot race only to disgrace himself by declaring himself the winner even though he didn't win. So the value of these Olympics slowly declined until they were banned as a pagan festival by Emperor Theodosius I. So it ended it after about 12 centuries. But it was started again, and now we have the Olympics that we know. The Olympics that we know and are currently watching were started by Baron Pierre de Coubertin. Sorry, I don't speak French. And they were dedicated to the promotion of physical education. And he came up with the idea after visiting the ancient Olympic site. And so in 1892, in Paris, at a meeting of the Union des Sports Athletiques, he proposed the idea of reviving the Olympics as an international athletic competition held every 4 years. And then 2 years later, he got the approval he needed, and he founded the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, and they're still the governing body of the Olympics today. That first Olympics that he got permission to hold was held in Athens, Greece in 1896. In the opening ceremony, King Georgios I and a crowd of like 60,000 spectators welcomed 280 participants from 12 nations. They were all male, and they would compete in 43 events like track and field, gymnastics, swimming, wrestling, cycling, tennis. And all of the Olympiads since then have been numbered, even when no games had taken place. So in 1960 during World War I, in 1940 and 44 during World War II, there wasn't Olympics, but they still numbered it as if there were. And then they came up with the official signal of those 5 interlocking rings that we all know and love, representing the continents of North, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, and Australia. So it's truly an international athletic event. And then the Olympics weren't a huge deal until in 1924, when the 8th Games were held in Paris, and over 3,000 athletes, more than 100 women, which is fantastic, from 44 nations competed that year. And for the first time, the Games had a closing ceremony, and then the Winter Olympics also debuted that year. So that's when people actually started tuning in to see what the athletes of their country were doing and cheering for, like in my case, USA, and just cheering for their country each 4 years. The Olympics used to be a place for amateurs to come together. There wasn't really the professional athletes that we know today until the 1960s, when communist countries were the top athletes because they were supported by the state, but they were officially considered amateurs. To counter this, in the 1970s and the 1980s, athletes in non-communist countries sought out corporate sponsors. So they became employees of these sponsors, like Nike or just any brand that wanted to use an Olympian to sell their product. And that's how the U.S. basketball dream team was able to come to the Olympics and start winning so many medals. And then eventually the rules for amateurism have gone away, as most of the athletes that we see are professionals, and they are supported by these companies, their countries, and sometimes in some countries, if you win a gold medal, you do receive a cash bonus. Like in Belgium, they get a cash bonus, but they also get free meat for the rest of their lives. So there are a lot of benefits, along with the pride and prestige of your sport, winning and being a world champion in participating in the games. So ever since 3,000 years ago to today, the Olympics have come a long way, from a religious to an amateur to a pro just celebration of athleticism. And it's a time where we all get together and cheer on our countries. It's a time where I feel the most patriotic, and it's really cool to see how far it's become and how commercialism has changed it in the 1960s and 70s, when athletes started to become professionals. And now we see all of these ads, and some of the biggest professional athletes just are in every single bit of media that we see, especially while watching the Olympics. So tune on in, it's still going on, and cheer for your country. And I know I'll be watching gymnastics. I have a friend who's competing, and just cheer on anyone you know and anyone wearing red, white, and blue. Have a good day.